Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the second episode of the Cookies and Cream podcast. Today's topic will be the top 10 video games of all time. Um, Now, me and Cookie both brought a separate list for
Mm-hmm.
a top 10. So, how we're going to do it is like I'll do number 10 and then he'll do number 10. I'll do number 9, then he'll do number 9. So, we're going to trade off each and every single one. And the only rule that we really have is one game per franchise. And other than that, there aren't really any rules stipulation to that. So let's get going. Cookie, who do you think should go first?
Ooh, that's a good question.
All right.
I believe it should be the man of the hour. You.
Alrighty.
Let's get started.
Well, my number 10 is Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon for the PS1.
Ah.
Um, I really like all the Spyro franchise. That's really what got me started on like 3D platformers. Actually, Spyro 2 was the first game I completed 100% when I was about 4 or 5. But I picked 3 over 2 because I like the 3 has a larger world. I like the music in 3 more, and it has 3 has more characters that you play as other than Spyro, and it's the first one to do that, and I think that's pretty cool. I like all the extra characters. They're all really really cool, and I just love all the Spyro games for like their worlds and things. But I just think that Spyro 3 is a little bit better
Which
in
one? Which console was that on?
the PS1.
Was that the one we played before?
It might have been. I'm not sure.
Because I remember playing. It's the one that has all the different worlds you go around.
Yeah, they all have different worlds and
Like,
things like that.
yeah, where the dragons get frozen or something, or whatever they get like crystallized.
Oh, that was the first
That
one.
was the first one.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Okay.
All right, man. What's your number 10?
No, my number 10 is Super Smash Bros. 64.
Okay. Why'd you go with 64 over Melee or Brawl?
Nostalgia.
Okay.
First one I ever played.
What are your some of memories with the game?
You know what? Me and my brother playing it. I mean, he always kicked my butt, but I'm just saying, dude, I fondest memories of going back and playing that
Mm.
all the time. I remember all the characters. They had Link, Mario, all my favorites. I was pretty easy to please when I was younger, but you know.
Yeah. Who was your favorite character to play as back then?
Ooh, I don't know. Probably Link. I always liked Zelda.
Okay. Alrighty.
So, what's your number 9?
Alrighty. Well, my number 9 is actually Super Smash Bros. Melee. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, mine is Melee. I love Melee because whenever I was younger, probably around 11 or 12, I actually played with my brother in tournaments that he had up in his college. They had like tournaments,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really cool because they didn't mind having like once they knew that I was my brother's brother, didn't mind having like a smaller kid there. They were like, "Oh, come on, man, let's play." And then I actually beat some of them, and the people I beat got like really pissed because I was pretty decent back then. I played a lot. I played as Captain Falcon back then. Now I main as Marth. I like Marth a lot. I'm actually trying out Jigglypuff, but I'm not really liking it too much, so I'm probably just gonna stick with Marth. Um, but yeah, I'm a big Marth guy. I played in a few tournaments. I actually came in second place in like 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I hung out with my one friend, his name was John. We used to play Smash Brothers a lot together, and he would always be number 1, and I would be number 2 in those tournaments that we went to together. It was a pretty fun time. I have a lot of fun memories with Melee, and I still prefer it over Brawl and the new one. I haven't played the new one enough to really get a fair judgment of it, but I just don't like Brawl because of the tripling and stuff. And I know about like Project M and things like that, but I don't know. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. Maybe I'll try it out someday.
Nice.
All right, man. What is your number 9?
Well, my number 9 is Ocarina of Time 64.
Oh, okay. What made you pick this one over the other Zeldas?
Okay, this one was actually the first one I actually beat on my own.
Oh, okay. I still haven't beat that one. I really want to though.
You know what? I have Majora's Mask on 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
Never beat it. Have
Yeah.
not gotten around to it yet. But Ocarina of Time was the first Zelda I have ever beaten. Probably the only one I've really ever played, to be honest.
Yeah. I want to beat Ocarina of Time before I beat Majora's Mask.
It's so good though.
Yeah.
I mean, I love going. It's another trip down memory lane too, because when I was younger, this is like one of the earliest games I remember playing alongside like Ren and Stimpy on the Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember playing this like all the time, along with like Smash. What else? I can't remember what this game is called, but I remember playing all the time. It was like a racing game. It was
Okay.
on. I think it was on the 64, Nintendo 64.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like it was like oh, dude, it was amazing. It was like a racing game, basically.
Mhm.
One of the first ones I really actually played. But alongside of that, Nintendo 64, Smash, just some of my greatest early memories.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like Ocarina of Time a lot too. It didn't make my list though, but I'm a big fan. Alrighty. Well, moving on to my number 8. This list is going pretty fast, you know.
I know.
But my number 8 is actually one of my favorite RPGs of all time, Persona 3 Portable. Now, you know my love for the Persona series.
Yeah, that's no surprise.
Yeah. Do you care if I spoil something for it, or do you want me to like not spoil something?
Ooh, spoiler alerts. Honestly, I'm never gonna get around to playing it.
Okay. Spoiler warning, guys, for any of you really interested in Persona 3 Portable. I will put like a timestamp of when you can skip to skip the spoiler. But the part where Shinji dies. This is about 80 hours in, maybe for me. On a 100-hour game. Shinji dies. He gets shot in an alley protecting Ken, and my God, I almost cried because the thing about Persona that I love is that you build up and like learn like stuff about your characters, and you get to choose to hang out with what characters you want. And I like Shinji. He was a cool badass motherfucker, and he fucking died because of he took a bullet for Ken. It was so noble, and he's like, oh man, you know, he was like, oh, don't worry about me, kid, I'll be fine. And then he dies, and it's so sad. And then the music, oh my God, the music that plays when he dies is like the saddest, most depressing music ever. And it cuts to Akihiko in and at his funeral, because him, Akihiko, and Mitsuru all knew each other before all the other members of FES Feast joined, but they knew each other for a lot longer than everyone else, so they were really close. And Akihiko's at his funeral, and he's saying, "Oh, why couldn't I save you? Why couldn't it have been me?" and things like that. And I liked all these characters, and I was like, "Oh no." Like, I was literally crying. Like, this is the only scene in any game that's ever made me legitimately cry.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It was so impactful. And that is the main reason I love Persona 3. Is just the character interaction and the story. The combat's pretty good too. It's not my favorite RPG combat in the world, but I really like the characters and the story. And the reason I picked 3 over 4 was because 4 didn't really have that, and like it had impactful moments, but it didn't have anything as impactful as that one scene. And then another reason is that the ending for Persona 4, you can get multiple endings, and you couldn't in 3. The ending in Persona 4, I got the bad ending where like Nanako, another spoiler for Persona 4 ending. It's one of the bad ones though, so you don't need to worry about it. I guess I'll put another timestamp though. Nanako dies, and it's the end of it. Like that's it. And I mean, it sucked, but it was so unsatisfying. Like, there was nothing to it. She just died, and that was the end of the game. And I'm like, this can't be the end of it. So I looked up, like, real ending. And, I thought it was ridiculous that you could have a 100-hour plus game have a bad ending. So that's why I don't like 4 as much. I still love 4 for the journey, but I hated the ending until I looked up, like, real ones online to get my solace. And I think that's kind of bad if you have to do that for a game. But it is what it is,
I've only came close to Actually, no, I came close to crying once.
Oh, what game was that? Or is it a game on your list?
It's not actually on my list. It's actually from Resident Evil.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I can't remember which one it was. It was like either 3, I think. And you're trying to save this dude. He's a worker. And you go up there and you find him and he's dead. And he has a little note from his daughter. And I was like, oh, it's really cute and sweet.
Yeah.
She was like really looking forward to seeing him again. And it was heartbreaking.
Oh my, that does sound rough.
It was the closest I think I've ever come close, because my gaming choice isn't character in depth as Persona. I don't think I've ever actually played that. Actually, you know what? You let me borrow it once, and I played it for like maybe 5-10 minutes. So I really didn't get too far into it.
Yeah, it's the kind of game you have to go into ready to be invested, I think.
I just wasn't the maker ready.
Yeah. But moving on, what is your number 8?
Well, this one's actually because of you, Chris.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
I might have an idea then.
Well, this may come as a shock, but Mortal Kombat.
Oh, really?
9. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. See, we have a long history with Mortal Kombat, because we would always play it, and he would get so angry that he would like lose. And I'll let you finish the story.
Yeah, I was a bit of a fighter back then. See, I was not much of a fighting fan, but when I did play it, it kind of got a little too aggressive, because we would always end up going into like full out fights towards the end. I don't know if any of you have ever listened to Ray William Johnson before. What is it called? Fight or whatever? Let's Fight.
I'm not sure.
I forget who it has in it, but it's basically, if you've ever listened to Ray William Johnson, you know the song I'm talking about. Where after they fight, they just throw down and start beating the living crap out of each other. That was pretty much what happened.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, Chris, you can remember how bad it got.
Oh, it got really. One time he put me in a chokehold and like flipped my chair that I was sitting in, and I'm like, Jesus, dude. And okay, one night, let me tell you guys a story real quick. Sidetrack. I don't think this will be on his list, but one time I brought over GoldenEye for the N64, and he had some really good memories of this game that he played when he was younger, and he hadn't played it for years. This was like about a year or two ago, probably about 2 years ago now. We played it, and this kid was cursing like a sailor. Like, oh my god, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen him so mad in my life, and he almost killed me. Like, if he had a gun, like in real life, he would have killed me that night. And then after that, we played Mortal Kombat, and it got almost as bad. It was ridiculous.
In my defense, my childhood was ruined that night. And everything I've ever known and loved was destroyed right before my eyes.
I don't think there's any defending that savagery.
Yeah. Well, I was young, violent, and stupid, and I couldn't hold back my aggression. So you can kind of think that didn't have very good self-control, and I'm sorry, Chris, for putting you in the hospital for that one.
It's okay. He didn't actually put me in the hospital, but it was one hell of a night. Oh man, oh, I love that. I like the Mortal Kombat stories. They're all really fun.
Violently, dude. Violence sells, man.
Yeah, we had to like watch something to calm him down, like from some Futurama or something like that. It was real fun.
Yeah, he thought I had anger management problems after that night.
At the time, yeah, but you know it doesn't really happen too much anymore.
No,
So
I'm pretty chill
thankfully,
now.
yeah. All right, man. Any other reasons you really like Mortal Kombat?
No, not really. I mean, that's pretty much it from like, all the times you and me playing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are my favorite memories of it too.
Oh, dude, great memories.
I do like the single player in it a lot. It's one of my favorites too. It didn't make my list. But it is really good. The single player is good too. You can borrow it sometime if you want to play through that.
No, I think I already have it.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think I have it on the PS3. I think I actually ended up buying it later on, because I think me and you were starting getting really competitive at it, like not fighting each other, but actually playing the game.
Yeah.
And eventually, I think it got to the point where I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna buy this. Why not?
Why not? I guess get some practice in.
Yeah. Still haven't been able to beat him yet. I think out of 5 matches, I've beaten him like once.
Yeah, like both rounds once. Usually he gets around on me, like whenever we play, especially when we played it a lot. He usually got around on me, but he didn't get both rounds on me a lot.
No, Chris just can't seem to let me win one, can he?
I don't let you win. You need to earn it. That's that deal.
I see.
All right. Do you want to move on to my next one?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right, my next one is the sorry, that I just had a tongue twister there. The best Bethesda game of all time, which is Fallout 3.
Oh, shots fired.
It's definitely Fallout 3. Fallout 3 is so much better than any of the other Scrolls games.
Oh, son, we're gonna have to throw down here right now. Bring out Mortal Kombat.
Maybe after the podcast. Yeah, I love Fallout 3. It's so open. It's my first Bethesda game, honestly. That's probably partial to why I like it so much. I love all the characters. I love the side quests. I love the DLC. It has the best DLC in like the whole series. And it was my first exposure to the Fallout series too, so I didn't really know what to expect, but I really enjoyed it. I love the story too. Like the story at the beginning is really interesting. Where it went to was kind of not, but I thought it was pretty good for what it was. The DLC kind of picked it up and made it better. And then I like it better than New Vegas because I feel like New Vegas is just a lot of. It doesn't feel like a Fallout game because of the desert atmosphere. At least to me, like it doesn't feel post-apocalyptic. It just feels like a barren desert. Like that's about it. And that's why I don't like it as much. I still love New Vegas though, but I don't like Fallout 4 that much. I think it's an okay game, like a middle ground. Like it's all right. Like I play it every once in a while. I don't like it nearly as much as I don't like 4 nearly as much as like 3 in New Vegas. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Fallout 3. I think it was actually I remember being my first M-rated game. Believe it or not, whenever my dad was like, because my parents are pretty conservative back when I was like 13 or 14, they were like, oh, you shouldn't be playing these. And then I'm like, come on, it's really cool. And I don't know how I talked him into it, but it kind of worked. And it was like,
I don't know why it was rated that, though.
M?
Yeah.
Because of the, because you can get bloody perk and like shoot people's brains out and their eyes would go out.
That's not
And it
bad.
had a lot of swearing in it too.
Granted, yeah, that is right.
So yeah, it deserved the M rating. And it talked about nuclear warfare.
Nah, that's something nothing like we haven't learned in history.
Well, I guess,
I
but
don't
still.
know. It took me like 3 years actually to get in that game.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them your story with that?
Yeah, I'll tell him a story. My little passage along to Fallout, because first time I borrowed this, I had my Xbox 360.
Yeah, he borrowed it from me.
I borrowed it from him because I wasn't old enough to get it myself, so my parents wouldn't get it for me. So I figured, you know what, I'll give it a shot. Did not like it. Those, what are they called? The centaurs?
Yeah, like the weird.
The freaky little things.
Yeah, I ran into those my first time too.
Yeah, I did not know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
I could not find Megaton. Don't ask me why I could not find Megaton, because I could not find Megaton. So I just got really frustrated because I didn't know what I was doing. So I was like, you know what, screw this. A couple years later, I ended up going back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Got hooked.
Yeah.
I got Fallout.
It was about 2 or 3 years later.
Mm-hmm. I got Fallout 3, and I was like, you know what? I like this so much. I'm gonna go Fallout New Vegas. I ended up actually liking New Vegas more than 3, actually. I don't know. I mean, I've been out west before. I haven't really been to Washington, D.C.
I've never been to out west before at all.
so
Or Washington, D.C.
So I kind of knew the areas a little bit better. I've been through Utah, mostly the DLC for Zion
Okay.
National Park. I've hiked through there, so I know all the trails and stuff and all the things around there. So it was kind of more of a, I guess, personal experience for me for New Vegas over 3. 3 was still amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still
I
really
think we
good.
can all agree that those two games are pretty timeless as far as open world adventure games, post-apocalyptic.
Oh, you know what else turned me off from 3? The gun sights. They didn't have gun sights.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really weird for me.
I didn't mind that too much.
I struggled. New Vegas kind of got me back on track a little bit. Actually, didn't I play New Vegas first and then decide to go back to 3?
I think so.
I think
Like, you played 3 first and like, and then you played New Vegas and I'll try 3.
Yeah, because I never tried New Vegas. I'm like, you know what, this isn't half bad. Maybe I'll go back. And I was like, yeah, there's some good stuff here.
Yeah. All right. What is your number 7, my good sir?
This one is just a timeless classic, man. Doesn't matter how old you are, where you're at, college, high school. Pokemon Red, Game Boy.
Oh, Pokemon Red. He's going for the first gen. Are you a Gen 1er?
Yes, I am a Gen 1er.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
I am not afraid to admit it. I am a Gen 1er. It is the first one I ever played because my brother was huge on this. I mean, I wasn't around when it first came out.
Yeah.
But I had Red, Yellow. What was was it Red, Blue, and Green were the first ones?
In Japan. But in America, it was Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Yeah, Red, Blue, and Yellow. I had all 3 of them. But I kind of stuck with Red, because Red is just my favorite. It's my favorite color. Charizard, by far, is my favorite of all of them.
Yeah.
I can remember staying up really late. And you know how it didn't have the backlights, so you'd have to get, like, the lights.
Did you play on, like, original Game Boy or Game Boy Advance? Cause
that's a good... I think I had both, actually.
Oh, okay.
I think I had both left over from my brother. Because I remember staying up late at night with the lamp over my bedroom and just sitting there and playing it.
Yeah.
Which those were just some of the best times of my life, man. Elementary school, going in, bringing my whole my whole like binder full of Pokemon cards and playing them on the
See,
playground.
I didn't get into Pokemon when I was in elementary school. I didn't get into it until like I was 15. Probably like sophomore year of high school, I got into Pokemon.
Hey man, there is no need to be afraid of saying it because it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who you go to. I've seen people who are like football jocks and they still play Pokemon. So it doesn't matter where you're at.
Right when X and Y came out, I got in. That's when I got in. That was my first one. I actually got Y, and then this one person at my high school, I wasn't friends with him or anything, but he saw me playing it, and he's like, "Hey man, you want to trade that for some older Pokemon games?" I'm like, not really. And he said, "I'll give you my whole collection for it." And it was fucking 15 Pokemon games.
Holy crap.
And it was like, it went back to like Game Boy Advance, like the Rufy Sapphire, Leaf Green, and then it had all the DS, like at least one game per generation, for all the DS ones, and then a couple of spin-offs. And he brought them to me, and they were all in good shape. And I was like, fuck yeah, take it. And then a month later, my one friend grew out of Pokemon. Like, he said, "You know what, bro? My cousin got this for me, and I thought I'd like it, but I really don't like it. I'll sell it to you for $20.
Nice.
And I'm like, shit yeah, dude. And I bought extra till $20 and continued it. So
Nice.
that was my experience with the series. The first one I actually ever beat was Leaf Green.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what my first. I don't think I actually ever beat Generation 1. I just played through it.
Oh, really?
Around. Yeah.
I remember when I was at your house and I played Leaf Green for a long time on the Game Boy
You know what?
player.
The only one I've ever beaten, and this was a tough choice for me,
Mm-hmm.
was actually Omega Ruby.
Yeah, Omega Ruby wasn't the only one I beat, but I beat that
it
one.
wasn't Omega Ruby, was it? Or is that the remake? Or
Yeah,
was it just Ruby?
Ruby is like the original Omega
Yeah,
Ruby. Okay.
Ruby. Ruby was the first one I actually ever beaten.
Mm-hmm.
And I have stronger memories of that because that's a little bit more recent to me than
Yeah.
the Gen 1. But I was really stuck because I'm a Gen 1er. I love Gen 1. But I also really liked Ruby, and I really liked the remakes as well. So
Yeah, the remakes are fantastic.
that was it was really tough to narrow it down between these three, just because I love Pokemon. I love it. But I just decided to go because nostalgia pretty much guides me here.
Is that why you're a Gen 1er?
Yeah, nostalgia. I think that's the most powerful thing that made me decide Gen 1
Mm-hmm.
Red. And I just honestly think that even though I beat Ruby,
Mm-hmm.
I just feel the stronger connection. I mean, obviously, Charizard is my favorite Pokemon of all time. By far.
He is?
Yeah.
Or isn't? Okay.
Oh, he is. So, I mean, that's why I picked Pokemon Red for number 7.
Are you excited for Sun and Moon?
Oh, yes.
I'm
am
very
ready.
excited. I'll be in college when that comes out. And I don't know if I'm going to get it right away, but I will get it eventually. I promise you that.
I can't wait for all the new Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm really pumped up for that one. It seems like it'll be a fun setting.
Mm-hmm. It's taking place in Hawaii, right?
Yeah, Hawaii.
Nice. Another island one.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty sweet. All right. You want to move on to the next one?
Yes.
All right.
Let's go right ahead.
My number 6 is Metal Gear Solid 3. Now, oh my god, it was so hard at picking between all the Metal Gear Solid games. I love all of them almost equally. They're all fantastic. And it came down between 2 and 3 for me. Those are like my two favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And I played through the series straight through, 1 to 5. I played through it all, except for I haven't beaten 5 yet, because I don't really care about the story of 5, honestly. But I like the gameplay in 5. But for the other, 1 through 4, it's all about the story. The story is fantastic. The gameplay is good too, to me, but it's really, I played it for the story. And I think 3 had the best story. And do you want to play 3, right? You want to go through 3?
Honestly, I have told myself I should really play through all the Metal Gear Solid. I don't have the patience.
I don't think I'm gonna spoil it for you though, just in case, like somewhere down the
Alright.
line you get the patience. But the ending of Metal Gear Solid 3 is so impactful. They're all really impactful, but the ending for 3 I think is the most impactful. And it gets you engaged. 3 gets you engaged right away with that first segment of it in the first about hour and a half, maybe 2 hour segment, where you get dropped off by the boss and things like that, and then you find out the boss betrays you. This is early on, so I can say it.
Oh yeah, I've gotten that through that part.
And that gets you so invested. That makes you relate. It's like, no, what's happening? This was my ally, like that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just the twists and turns that you take through that story. It's so fantastic. I love it so much. I love them all, but if I had to pick one, it's definitely 3 for sure. The third-person view version, not the original overhead version, because that isn't very good.
It's gonna be Metal Gear Solid for me. Is gonna be one of these games where it's gonna be 10 years down the line. It's gonna be a Fallout for me again.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I hope you beat them all, because they're all really they're the best stories in video games, in my opinion.
I mean, every time I've played, because you gave me Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PS1.
Yes, and then you
So-
bought the HD collection.
Yes, I did. So I have it all at my fingertips here. I mean, I could do it. It's just I've tried playing 1. I get maybe 15-20 minutes past each part I've made through.
1's the hardest, I think, to get into, because it's the most archaic. I don't want to say archaic in a bad way. It's just the most dated controls.
Yeah,
It's really
I
hard if you're
struggle.
really into fast action first person shooters and things like that, which I know you were when you first tried it, and you're kind of less of now, but you're still kind of into that type of genre.
If I still had PlayStation Plus, I'd still be playing FPSs.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know. We both don't have PlayStation Plus anymore. We're gonna get it eventually, though.
Hopefully one day.
Yeah, one of these days.
Probably when I move.
Yeah, probably.
One day.
All right. Next one for you, buddy. What's your number 6?
Ooh, alrighty. So this one may be some controversial for
Oh,
some people.
boy.
Not uber.
I don't know what it is yet, guys. We don't know each other's lists at all.
Well, it may come as a surprise, it may not. But Battlefield 4.
Oh my God, Battlefield 4.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That is really surprising,
I
to be
know.
honest.
I know. 3 was amazing. 3
Okay.
was like one of those games where I hated it because I was on my Call of Duty kick,
Okay.
and I was like, "Woo, Call of Duty is the beast of everything." It's just why isn't Battlefield doing this? But I grew up a little bit. Came
Yeah.
back to Battlefield 3, and I was like, "Wow, this is actually really, really cool." And I kind of got hooked. It's kind of like this thing for me. I don't like games the first time I play them, and then I'll come back a few years later and I'm like, wow, actually, this is really good.
So you're putting 4 on the list, though.
Yes, 4.
Why are you picking 4 over 3?
See, 4 may have had the rockiest start, but however, what DICE has done with the game is just phenomenal. All the free maps they've added on, all the balancing, all the bug fixes. I mean, they've been really with the community, and just a lot of the free stuff is kind of a unique thing in an EA game. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, it really is.
You don't get too many freebies from EA, and let's be honest here. Fallout 4, I think, has had the most freebies. Community maps, maybe.
Fallout 4?
No, Battlefield. I'm sorry.
Battlefield 4.
I'm sorry. I've been playing so much Fallout lately. It's just getting stuck in my mind. But no, Battlefield 4 is definitely. I think it's been getting the most free stuff. Weapons. The night maps have been interesting. People have been asking for that, and they've added it in.
Okay.
So I mean, for me anymore, FPSs are kind of losing a little bit of interest. But Battlefield 4 is definitely one of those games that has certainly kept my interest the longest. I certainly love the series. I love the destruction. I love the tanks. I mean, that's every time I've ever had someone play it, except maybe you, is they love the vehicles. They love the combat. I find it to be a little bit more strategy-wise.
See, this is a little bit like, it's not hard for me, but it's a little like for me because he always tries to get me to play Battlefield 4, and I don't like it that much. You know, it's like I think it's okay, but I'm not a huge fan. I don't like FPS as much as he does, though.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a struggle for some. I think eventually you might like it one day.
Who knows?
I mean,
Maybe when we get PlayStation Plus again, we can try again.
Maybe, but I like the strategy behind it a little bit because you can be you can do whatever the heck you want. Put a silencer on. You can do as much as you want or as little. You could just go in with a machine gun and go in a room or do whatever the heck you want. You can play the Call of Duty style or you could play the sniper. It's just a little bit more complicated than Call of Duty. You know, it's not just like run, jump, shoot, do a 360 no scope off a wall and then kill some dude from across the map. It's a little bit more into it than just that. But you know, to the people who play Call of Duty, I understand the appeal. I was addicted to it. That's just I moved on a little bit, you know?
Yeah. All right. Want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, sure.
All right. My number 5 is Super Mario World. For the Super Nintendo.
Really?
Have you played this one?
Which one is it again?
Super Mario World. It's one where they
Super
first
Mario.
introduced Yoshi.
No.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you guys the reason I picked this over all the Mario games. I love Mario. It has a lot of really good games, a lot of fantastic ones, and it came down between this, Super Mario, or like Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door for GameCube, and it was really between those two, and and Super Mario 64. But I had to go with this one because of my nostalgia with it, actually. Because what happened is that we got a Wii, like me and I did actually. I paid for the Wii. We got a Wii, and then this is when my brother was still living here. We got it, and then he went on Virtual Console and bought Super Mario World, and I'm like, hey, what's this? And then he's like, oh, it's Super Mario World. And I'm like, oh, well, I remember from Mario 3 that you could play like co-op type of deal, like take turns. So I'm like, hey, you want to play it? And he's like, sure. And then we got a mattress from that top bunk. We took the mattress out and set it on the floor, and we sat down and we played through the entire game in one night.
Wow.
And it was a magical night, honestly. It was you know, because it was one of those things that like really, because me and my brother have a big age gap, so sometimes we don't like really, especially when I was younger, because he kind of thought I was annoying, and I kind of was, but you know how it is. We're really close now, but back then we weren't super duper close, and this was one of the first things that really got us to like talking about games that we like and like being a little bit closer, that type of thing. And I always cherish that game for doing that. I think it's one of the most important games of my life, probably, to be honest, because of that aspect.
Wow.
And I just think it's fantastic too. I think it has some of the best level design of any Mario game, and all the secrets are amazing. He showed me all the secrets. I was like, holy shit, this is cool, like that type of thing. But yeah, let's move on to your number 5 though.
Ooh, my number 5 is a beloved one for me.
All right.
Probably earliest fandom,
Okay.
which would be Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Oh, you went with Brotherhood.
I did go
I
with
am
Brotherhood.
surprised about that.
Do you know what? It was kind of the one I guess I spent the most time on.
Okay.
I mean, I
Was
love.
that the one that you hid in a PS? You took from your parents' closet because it was a Christmas gift, and you hid it in a PS2 game, and you brought it over to my house, and then played it on my PS3.
That was actually, I think that was 3. Actually,
Was that 3?
that was actually Assassin's Creed 3.
Okay, I remember him doing that for one of them, and I was like, I don't remember
Because-
which one that was.
I remember. No, that was definitely 3.
Okay.
But I remember getting hooked on Assassin's Creed with actually trading. What was it? Super Smash Brawl for N64. I remember trading like something for Assassin's Creed 1 with you
Yeah, probably Super Smash Bros. For N64.
because I still had that laying around. And I wasn't even going to play it. I didn't have an N64 anymore.
Yeah.
So I remember trading it, and I was like, I've always looked at Assassin's Creed, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. This is interesting. I want to get into this.
And I didn't like the first Assassin's Creed.
Mm-mm. So I figured, what the heck, I'll do this. So I started in Assassin's Creed 1, got hooked, got 2. Actually, I think I skipped 2.
Did you?
I think I actually skipped 2.
Have you played it since then?
Yeah. I've got it. Wasn't it free on PSN?
It might have been.
I think it was or something, because I have it on the PSN on my PS3.
Okay.
But I remember, I think I might have skipped it because I had an Xbox 360
Mhm.
then when I played Brotherhood. So I didn't have Xbox Live because it broke. So I remember most of my time on the Xbox 360 between just playing the single player of Halo, Brotherhood.
Mhm.
Absolutely love the mechanics. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I love just going around the city. I'm a big role player, so I would role play here and there, do what I wanted, and it was
Yeah.
just kind of young, using my imagination, just having a lot of fun doing it.
I played through Assassin's Creed 1 through Revelations. Like, I've played all those ones. I stopped at 3. I was trying to go through the whole series, but I'm stuck at 3, and I think I'm going to skip 3. I don't really like it that much anymore. 3 was actually my first introduction to the series, and I liked it when I played it, but now I don't after playing the other ones. But yeah, I think Brotherhood's fantastic. I think Revelations might be my favorite out of those 3, though.
Really?
Yeah, I like Revelations
That's
a
what
lot.
kind of the one that kind of knocked me off my wagon per se for Assassin's Creed.
I like the way they ended it. That's what I like
Yeah,
about
it
it.
had a nice ending, but for me, it took me a while to like it.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, I kind of got into it. I liked it. I think one that really kind of killed it for me was Unity.
Unity, yeah. It killed it for a lot of people. I haven't played that one, though. The most recent one I played was 4, and I loved it, but I didn't want to beat it until after going through the rest of the series, so I stopped and, went back. But I think I'm just going to skip 3 and play 4 again, because why not?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually beaten Unity yet.
Yeah.
I've never gone around to doing it, and I just recently bought Syndicate, so I don't know how well that's gonna go. But I figured it was on sale, $26.
You actually bought it today.
I did actually buy it today on PSN. I got a PlayStation card, and it's on sale for $26. So why not?
Yeah,
I mean, you can't go wrong.
I
figured-
guess.
So I figured, hey, what the heck? Why not? I like Assassin's Creed. I'll give it another shot.
I heard Syndicate redeems a lot what Unity messed up.
Really,
That's what I hear, at least.
I'm hoping.
But yeah, are there any other reasons you love Brotherhood?
Besides Ezio and the story and just the setting,
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Ezio will always be the best character.
Ezio will always be the best.
Fight me in the comments. No, I'm just kidding. But all right, let's move on to my number 4. My number 4 will come to no surprise of you, Advance Wars 2.
Actually, I thought that would have been higher.
Really?
I thought the way you speak so highly of it, I would have thought it would have been much higher. I'm actually curious to see what your number 1 is.
Okay. Don't look then. But anyways, the reason I love Advance Wars 2 so much is it is my first experience with turn-based strategy games, and I think it will always be my favorite. Because I played it when I was really little. I actually played it when I went to church after church, because all the adults would talk for 2 hours, and we hadn't had anything to do. And I had a Game Boy, and then they were like, "Hey, you have a Game Boy? Do you like Game Boy games?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I like Game Boy games." And they were like, "Oh, check this out!" And it was Advance Wars, and it was a Game Boy game you could pass around, and it's the end of my turn, pass it to you physically, and you didn't need a link, and I didn't have a link, so I never played multiplayer games until Advance Wars 2. And it was so much fun. All the different unit types, all the different CO types you can combine with. Some are good with air, some are good with naval, some are good with ground, and things like that. It made it so interesting and so much replay value. We got really into it. Played it all the time. It was really fun, and even after I like stopped going to that church, I still played it like by myself, and I actually met some people like when I used to go to karate. After karate, sometimes my dad and brother would take a while to change because they talked to everyone, and I didn't really want to talk to anyone. So I went upstairs and played DS after I changed. And I met someone that liked it after playing with me, and he bought it, and then we like played. It was the Advance Wars 4, the Days of Ruin, and we played it, together for a while. So I've always played it with some people. I think it's the best strategy game of all time. I think it's the best intelligence system game. I like it more than Fire Emblem, even though I like Fire Emblem a lot. I just don't have a lot of experience with the series. I've only played Awakening. But I think that I'm really hoping for Advance Wars 5. That's all I can cross my fingers. If Advance Wars 5 comes out for 3DS, I will literally celebrate so hard. You have no idea. It's gonna get crunk up in here if that happens.
How many years has it been since Advance War?
8 years. It's been 8 years since Advance Wars 4 came out.
Dreaming.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen, but especially with Fire Emblem getting popular all of a sudden. But we'll see. Maybe it'll be like, oh, maybe we can resurrect this game and make it in intelligence systems. If one of you are listening, off chance, I don't know why I'm even saying this, but don't make it dark and gritty. Make it lighthearted like it used to be, please. Because I love 4, but it kind of ruined it for me a little bit. I still love it, but making it dark and gritty was not your best decision. That's my only request, though. But yeah, what's your number 4?
Mine is my saving grace for the Fallout series. I think I've already talked about it before here. Fallout New Vegas.
Okay.
Which was pretty much the saving grace for me. It kind of is what got me back into Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going in there and being like, yeah, I'll give this a shot. And then after playing a few hours, getting through the world, knowing about it a little bit, I got into it. And I liked it.
Did you get into that one by yourself, or did I convince you to buy it?
You know what? I really don't know. I don't know if I just decided, hey, I'm gonna buy this. I don't think, yet again, I was old enough, so I think your dad might have got it for me, or maybe someone.
I think he might have. I can't remember. But yeah, why do you love Fallout New Vegas over 3 and all the other ones?
Ooh, see, I guess it was at first the gameplay mechanics, the aiming down sights.
Yeah.
The weapons were a lot cooler to me. The setting, I really liked the West, the Western setting. Like New Vegas, I've been to Las Vegas, I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of hit home a little bit,
Yeah.
Actually being there and actually seeing all the attractions and all the places that it talks about, like Hoover Dam and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's I can relate because I've actually seen these places and been there, and I've traversed through it. So honestly, and plus I like the story a little bit better too.
Mm-hmm. I do agree the story's more interesting.
Lone Kurt, and I think the DLC for me was just a little bit more interesting.
Okay.
Like the Sierra Madre, Lonesome Road was really good.
I like the DLC a lot for both of them, but I think 3 is a little bit better for me. Just personal opinion.
Well, 3 has a little bit, I guess, of the zany ones, like Mothership Zeta.
Yeah, it
was
really cool.
Interesting. But for me, I love the DLC for Fallout New Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Broken Hearts with Zion. Like I said, I've been there. I've hiked the trails. I've done all that. So I can relate to that in a different way than maybe you could have, because you haven't been out west yet and you haven't seen all the places, the areas.
I hope to be there someday.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll go out there.
Yeah, hey, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else about Fallout 4? Or sorry, Fallout New Vegas?
No.
None too much. All right. We'll go on to my number 3, and you're gonna hate me for this. My number 3 is probably one of the greatest RPGs of all time, Undertale. I love Undertale.
I'll give it to you, man. I'm not gonna judge you too hard.
He hates the fandom. I'm not part of the fandom, though. That's the thing. I'm not saying anyone that is a bad person. I'm just saying that I'm not a part of it. You know what I mean?
It's okay to it's just when it starts getting off any fandom where it starts getting all too far off.
Like porny.
Yeah, then it's just okay, I don't want to get into this because
I don't look at that stuff.
See, I never knew what it was though.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a game. All I've known is the stuff on the CD side of the internet.
Oh, jeez.
Just what the frick is this? Okay.
It's really good though.
I mean, I'm sure it is. I mean, I guess one day I can give it a shot. And I'm not saying to people who like it, it's bad. I'm just saying, I guess I haven't got to experience it yet.
It's a magical experience. I went in really blind and didn't know, and it basically is consequences for your actions. Every monster you kill, there's a consequence for the action, that type of thing, and it's really impactful. I think that Undertale and Persona are pretty much tied for the best character development in any game.
Really?
Yeah, they're both fantastic. But I love the way that Undertale really handles RPGs in new light. Because I played a lot of RPGs, especially Japanese RPGs. And they all kind of go like, oh, just kill the monster. Don't ask why, just do it. Like, that type of thing. And then, you know, this one really made you ask why. And then it makes you... The thing I love about Undertale is that it makes you think about other RPGs differently than how you would have beforehand. That type of thing. And I think that really shows a sign of a really impactful game. I think the ending was fantastic. I've beaten it multiple times. I think the endings were fantastic. I just love the creativeness of it. It's so different and unique, and it just makes me feel good to play something new that isn't so stale and something that could be so different and take so many risks and actually be really popular. Like, I think that's awesome. But I love Undertale. It's so fantastic. I recommend it to anyone with a PC in general because it can run on any PC basically because it's pretty like 8-bit style, but I think it looks fantastic either way. Especially the battle animation looks really nice. I like the battles too because like you interact with it like a kind of like a spaceship shooter game. I think that's pretty cool too.
I have a question. What is it played on? PC?
Just PC.
PC?
Just
okay.
PC, yeah.
Is it free or does you have to pay for it?
$10 on Steam.
Alright, maybe one day I might get around.
You can get a demo for free if you go to Undertale.com.
Is it really graphically?
No, you can play it on your laptop. You'll be
okay.
alright, yeah.
Alright, maybe I'll give it a shot.
It's worth it.
Maybe I'll give it a chance. Maybe put my prejudice behind. And maybe give it a shot. You never know. Maybe I might like it.
I hope you do. We'll have to talk about it afterwards. Alright, bud. What is your number 3?
Alright, this may come as a surprise or not. Maybe it might not. Because, I like this game. Sonic Adventures 2.
Oh my. I didn't think it'd make it that high if you were going to put it on here.
Oh, dude. First opening scene from that game is just the most intense shit ever.
Yeah, I think Sonic Adventure 2 probably has the title for the best opening, like, 5 minutes of all time.
Like, come on, man.
But after that, in my opinion, I think it goes real downhill.
Oh. See, dude, I love just screwing around in that game, especially with, like, the Knuckles stages where you can just fly around and stuff.
Everyone hates those. I actually really like those, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I like them, too.
I don't hate the game, but the thing that makes me make the game go down a few pegs is the like Robotnik and Tails stages. I hate those stages. I hate them so much.
I thought they were so cool.
I don't know why I hate them. I just do.
You know, I just have to point this out now, just because we're talking about Sonic. But Sonic is not the fastest hedgehog in the world, nor is he the fastest person in the Sonic games. I think this can go out for game theory too.
Hashtag MattPat.
MattPat, because he showed me the light that Dr. Eggman is actually quite faster. I just found it quite interesting.
I mean,
we have been fed lies.
Honestly, he's probably pretty slow. If Eggman's faster than him, you know.
I mean, he's got long legs.
True, but he has a really round body too.
I know, man.
But his legs are thin as can be. So that man does not skip leg day.
Oh no, he does not. But I'm just saying, man, Sonic Adventures 2, great memories, great time playing it. Love the first stage. I think that's kind of what sets the tone for
Did you play it on Dreamcast or GameCube?
GameCube.
Okay. When did you play it? Like, how old were you think?
I was pretty young. It was one of the earlier systems I had, playing with my brother, but I mainly played it on my own.
Okay.
Because I remember, what were those, I can't remember what they're called, the little...
Chows.
The Chows.
Yeah.
I love freaking collecting those things and, like, just taking care of them.
I hated the Chows. Everyone likes the Chows, but when I first played it at Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, I hated the Chows. I kind of like him now, but I don't like him as much as everyone else, I don't think.
So, want to go on to yours?
Sure. My number 2 is the greatest open world adventure game of all time, and it has pirates in it. I'm talking Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Really?
Oh my god, this is the best Zelda game. I love Zelda. I'm a huge Zelda fan. My second favorite franchise of all time. My number 2 game of all time. That's kind of ironic, but it is what it is. I love Zelda so much. It was so hard to pick between this and a few of the other ones, especially like Link to the Past was and Link Between Worlds were the other two that I was really like debating between. But I love Wind Waker. It is so fantastic.
Maybe a little bit unhealthy, so.
Oh my god. When I first played this, it was magical. It was like, it's so open. And I love the sailing. Everyone, on the GameCube, they hated this whenever it first came out. Like, whenever I first got a GameCube, is right around when it first came out. And I played it, and I loved it. And everyone hated the sea part. And I'm like, no, like, being on the sea is the whole point of the game, because you just explore and you adventure and you can find hidden treasure on every single island.
I have to
Like,
ask.
every single square, there's something hidden in there, and it's so amazing.
I have to ask. Is this why you liked Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag?
Oh, yes.
I can kind of see the comparisons.
Black Flag felt a lot like that Zelda and the like adventure aspect on the sea, but I like Zelda better because I like the cartooniness of it, and I like how it handles it better. It feels more like a game. Like Assassin's Creed 4 kind of felt like too realistic for me when it comes. Like it's fantastic. It's really fun, but it felt a little bit too realistic for me on some of the like ship aspects. But back to Zelda. I love the story. I think it's really, really great. I even like the Triforce quest. And that's something that everyone hates in that game. So I'm a little bit of an over fanboy of Wind Waker, but oh my god, it is so fantastic. I can't get enough of Wind Waker. I usually play it like once a year. It's my it's my favorite Zelda game of all time.
Is it like
sure.
like a tradition?
Yeah, usually around like November or December. Whenever like everyone's like in for Christmas break, I'm playing Wind Waker. You know.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it so much. Oh my god. Comment your favorite Zelda game down below, please. I just want to see what people like, you know. But yeah, let's move on to your number 2.
Oh, mine might be a bigger twist than an M. Night Shyamalan movie right here.
Oh, I'm really anxious to see
this
one.
I've been waiting for this one. So, are you ready?
I think so.
Skyrim.
I am not surprised at all.
No.
I'm surprised it's not number 1 is what I'm surprised
at. You know, this was probably the toughest choice for me because I had an unhealthy addiction to Skyrim.
He did. I didn't see this guy for months after Skyrim came out.
I had an addiction. I had a problem, man.
Like a real addiction. Like, we're not even kidding. He had a real addiction.
I went through therapy for that, man.
I don't think he went through therapy, but he did have a real addiction.
I mean, I can't think of a game that I've sunk more hours into. And I think a lot of people, when I say Skyrim, will be like, yeah, those are some of the best times of my life. If I could go back and change it, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I remember multiple times you ignored my phone calls for that game. And I mean, like, I'm not sour about it, but I'm just saying, like, I remember, like, oh, man, he must be playing fucking Skyrim. Like, I'll hang out with someone else.
It got to the point where I would just shut off my online. I'd always shut it off the offline so people wouldn't realize how much I play Skyrim. My grades suffered. It was bad. But you know what? Best freaking game I've ever played. By far.
I thought it was your number 2.
Well, yeah, I'm getting to it. Best game I've played up to date, I guess I should say. Up to this date. It's still, like, of the future ones, this is probably my favorite. But, you know, it's... see, I'm going back. I'm regressing.
Yeah.
I'm regressing. See, this is how bad it was. See, this was so difficult for me. Because you know how much I love Skyrim. And I guess I'm kind of going a little topsy-turvy here, but I'm going to keep it at the second for simplicity for this. So, I love it to death. I can't say, like, I express how much I love this game. From the story, the characters, I really liked making my own characters.
Yeah.
Like
I know you made a lot of characters
I
in
made
that
so
game.
many characters. I just loved, like, coming up with all these different ideas and giving them backstories and going through the little worlds of how they did things. It was just... speechless, man.
Yeah.
Brings back all the fond memories of being a...
I like that game too, but I don't like it nearly as much as he does.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do you want to move on or keep talking about it?
You know what? I think I've given enough Sean Lent.
Alright, do you think before our number 1s we should give an honorable mentions? Like a couple of honorable mentions? Or do you think we should just go right along?
Yeah, I guess we could do, like, maybe a few honorable mentions if you'd like.
Okay, you guys at home, let us know if you like that or if you want us to just go right to number 1 next time we do, like, a top 10 list. Alright, so a couple honorable mentions for me is any game in the Pokemon series. I didn't put a Pokemon game in there, but I think they're really fantastic games. Doom, and Doom 1, to be specific. I love Doom 1. Fantastic game. Just didn't have enough room for it on the top 10. And probably Bloodborne would be another one. It's my favorite next gen, like PS4 or Xbox One game for sure. It's my favorite game to come out in the last 5 years. That's for damn sure. I love it so much. Bloodborne, fantastic. I'd say that's about it for my honorable mentions. There's probably a couple here or there, but I can't think of them right now. So, on to the biggest of the baddest. It's number 1.
Yay!
Here we go. My number 1 is, of no surprise to you, Mega Man 2.
Seen it.
Yeah. See, this was really predictable for him because it's always been my favorite game ever since we first met each other. But I actually had a really hard time picking between this and X1 because X1 innovated so much, and I think it's really fantastic for what it did. But I think nostalgia really has me going for Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 is one of the first games I ever played on the NES. It is just incredible. It is so good, and I can't believe how amazing it is to me. And it's the hardest game. It's the first game I ever. It's not the first game I ever beat, but it's one of the first games I ever beat. I loved it so much. It was so impactful in my life, and it's what made me. It's what I judged all other games on, was Mega Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first one that really made an impact on me. It's the game that made me become a gamer. So I think that's why it's on there. And I love the themes. I love all the bosses. There's nothing I don't like about Mega Man 2. And I think it's the quintessential, for me, probably always will be the perfect game for me. That type of thing. But, yeah. Want to move on to your number one?
Well,
Do you have any honorable mentions?
I do have some honorable mentions.
All right.
Definitely for me, Witcher 3 on, what was it?
PS4.
PS4, the one on PS4. I can't remember the title. It's been a while.
The Wild Hunt.
The Wild Hunt, yeah. That was definitely something, I guess. Well, I won't get into it. We don't make this too much longer than it needs to be.
Just make the honorable mentions and say them.
Any of the Call of Duty, specifically World at War or COD 4.
Okay.
Any of the other Pokemon games I'll throw in there too. That's pretty much it for me, and I guess we'll move on to my number one. And this was a struggle like no other.
I'm surprised Skyrim wasn't number one. So
I'm surprised too, but it's actually Battlefront 2.
Oh my god, really?
Battlefront 2 was my defining game as a child.
That's awesome. I'm really surprised.
Yeah, I am too, to be honest, because I struggled. I was like, I love Skyrim. It sucked my life away, but what really set me on this path?
Mm-hmm.
And I would have to say Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
First day getting that game, just the excitement that I felt, the passion that I felt to play this game, and just delving into the Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm.
Just phenomenal.
Star Wars, whenever... People are going to hate me for this, but whenever Star Wars Episode 3 came out, I was such a big Star Wars fan that it was my favorite movie of all time.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to get some hate, but anyways, go on with your Battlefront.
I'm just saying, dude, I'm not a fan of the new Battlefront, but Battlefront 2 will always have a special place in my heart.
I would definitely put that as one of my honorable mentions, too. I like that game a lot. It's fantastic.
It is
so
absolutely
good.
fantastic. Just... The Star Wars universe is probably one of the most expansive universes out there, maybe besides Bethesda's games, but just in lore over, like, everything, and, like, books, movies, video games. Star Wars just, it's everywhere.
Yeah, nothing has a beat.
And it's just, when I think back of it, I just think back of, the struggle of conquest and intergalactic conquest, or whatever it was called, where you go around struggling through that, but getting through it, because I'm not the best video game player of all. I'm not as good as Chris because I'm not much of a challenge. I don't go for a challenge for the most part.
I like to play hard games.
Yeah. But just Battlefront for me was just this amazing experience that kind of set me on the path to where I am now. If I wouldn't have played Battlefront, I don't think I'd be as into video games as I am.
And I think that's what really this list was all about, guys. I think that we really want to show you what we're into, what we like, and what made us be the kind of gamers that we are today. And I'm really glad we did this list. I had a good time filming it. Do you have any other comments for Battlefront? I don't want to step on your toes or anything.
God, no. I've covered it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you if you listened all the way through, for getting this far. I hope you enjoyed listening to this as much as we enjoyed making it.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys have any suggestions for the show, comment down below or email me at cookiesandcream@gmail.com. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thumbs up, subscribe, anything you want to do. And until the next list, guys.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yep.